Alhamdulillahi, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. You're listening to Radio Ramadan Wolverhampton. This is 87.8 FM and my name is Yusuf Shafi, in conversation with Yusuf Shafi. We're back again, it's Tuesday, it's 6 p.m. and well, just after 6 p.m. after the Asr Azan, and Alhamdulillah we've got another information-packed program for you all about this week the NHS and some of the issues that the NHS are dealing with within our local communities. I've got three marvellous guests in the audience. In my studio. I've got three marvellous guests. I've got Nazima Escopri.
Escopri, yeah.
Assalamu alaikum, Nazima. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam, and I'm very well.
And how is the month of Ramadan treating you?
Alhamdulillah, it's been absolutely lovely.
Excellent, good.
Thank you.
We've got Dave Stocks. Hello, Dave.
Oh, hiya. Nice to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
And welcome, Dave. It's always good to have good people like yourself on Radio Ramadan Wolverhampton. And we've got Mohammed Yassin, also from the NHS.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How's your Ramadan?
It's going so good so far.
Excellent. Good. Right, so listeners, today what we're going to focus on is the role of these three people within the NHS. They're all community development workers, or community development officers, I should say. And their key focus is to engage with local communities, such as our Muslim community, in order to create awareness and find out and really try to understand some of the issues that are affecting our communities, and then serve those communities through the NHS. The focus today is about mental health and suicide prevention. So these are topics which are quite difficult at times to deal with, but as a community we need to be able to focus on these. We need to be able to discuss and inform each other and make ourselves aware of how these are significant ailments and problems that affect individuals and individuals' lives, and how through support and through guidance and through understanding we as a community can solve some of these problems. I'm going to start off bringing in Nazima, yourself. Hello and welcome again. Your work as a community development work officer at the NHS, and your focus is the black and minority ethnic communities. So tell us a little bit of what you do day in, day out.
Okay. So predominantly my role involves engaging with different communities. So obviously, like you said, the BAME, which is the Black, Asian, minority ethnic community groups, including vulnerable communities as well. So we engage with deaf communities, visually impaired communities, and it's looking at how they can access the right mental health support that is relevant to their cultural needs. Obviously, if there are barriers to accessing those right support, is we ensure that there is a way for them to kind of get support within their locality. So something that's within local communities that can be offered. That could be, it doesn't necessarily have to be through the NHS. It could be anywhere within the area that they live. It could be over the telephone. It could be over the online platforms, or various ways that's kind of much more relevant to that person's needs, really. So that's our aim, is looking at what services are there in the community that's already being delivered through the community sector. Obviously also through local authorities and other organisations that are working around supporting people through mental health.
And I would guess that a part of that role is therefore to do a needs analysis, to work out what the local needs are, not just simply provide a marrying service between the public and the NHS, but also to actually inform the NHS of where the gaps are within service.
Yes, absolutely. So I think when my role started back last year, the initial stages was around kind of developing those conversations. So we interviewed various community leaders, faith organisations, and looking at what were the key challenges for those communities, and identifying barriers. Obviously, when we talk about mental health, it's not just about the key mental health issues that people present with, but there are wider issues that impact people's mental health. So that could be, somebody might be going through divorce, or losing somebody, or losing a job, etc. So
we'll talk further about some of the key concerns and issues that are impacting individuals' lives later on in the show. But I want to bring in Dave Stocks. From your point of view, you've got a very definite focus on suicide prevention.
Yeah.
So let us know, please, a little bit about what's involved with that work.
Yeah.
Do by all means come closer to the mic.
Yeah. My job title is Suicide Prevention Community Development Worker, and I always say that's either a conversation starter or a conversation stopper, because it's quite a sensitive subject as you've already raised, and the reason I got into this role was because I've been through suicidal feelings myself before and come out the other side, and I want to offer hope to other people. And it's only by getting people to talk about their own mental health and well-being that we can promote sort of better mental health and stop future suicides. So we've got an ambition to aim towards zero suicides.
Okay. And just to bring yourself in, Mohammed Yassin, from your point of view as another one of the community development workers within mental health and working with BAME communities, what do you see your key role as and your key priorities in your job role?
I think the key role, our role, is to help and support local communities across the Black Country. As part of the Black Country Healthcare, we're here to support communities right across with kind of educating and understanding mental health and really getting people to talk about mental health. Because I'm sure you understand as well, as amongst some of the South Asian communities, talking about mental health is still classed as a taboo subject. People are very reluctant to even talk about it, very reluctant to even seek that help that is out there, widely available for people. And our role is to kind of engage with local communities from different backgrounds and try and educate people that there is support available, that it is okay to talk about suicide. It is okay to talk about your mental health, and we are here to support and help you.
One of the things that I'm aware of, or you increasingly see in the media about especially, is the issue around why BME communities and Afro-Caribbean communities in particular are significantly more prevalent, or significantly more, there's a greater propensity of them getting mental health conditions. Why do you think that is? What's going on behind that? I mean, is it just the way the statistics are collected, or is it genuinely something that is within those communities that means that they are a lot more impacted by mental health issues?
I think it's a bit of both, obviously, but I think more than anything else that what we've highlighted through our work, especially in the last 18 to 24 months during COVID especially, that there is a need for us to engage more with ethnic minority communities and Black African Caribbean communities and understand what some of those hesitancies are. And we found out through during COVID as well, going back. Last year we did a lot of work in trying to understand as to why are the Black African Caribbean communities, some of the Asian communities not coming forward to uptake the vaccine that was available to those communities as well. So we try and engage and understand what are the underlying issues, and we did a number of projects over the last 12 months or so in trying to engage with communities as well, bringing them together, bringing faith leaders together as well from those different communities, and also our clinical experts as well to provide that correct information.
And what were the outcomes of that? Because I'm often intrigued, and please, by all means, Dave and Nazima, come in on this. I mean, there's a lot of stigma. We're aware of the stigma. We're aware of people being unwilling to talk about mental health conditions. We're aware about people not being able to seek help because they don't know where to go, and that's fine. But why is it that we're finding there's a greater number of people from Black and minority communities, Muslim communities included, who are sufferers of mental health conditions?
I mean, one of the things I was just going to say that I think one of the key priorities between this community development workers is how do we ensure that communities access support earlier on. So, for example, if somebody becomes unwell and there is a delay for them in seeking this right support, then obviously there is going to be a deterioration in their mental health and well-being, and if they're not seeking that early support. So I think one of the key things myself, Yasin and David are working on is that people are able to identify some of the early signs and symptoms, or keep and also identifying where they need to go for that support.
Would you want to pinpoint certain factors in society, for example, the education system? Would you want to go down the road looking at issues affecting, for example, xenophobia, racism, Islamophobia, poor housing, poor job opportunities, poor issues around crime and domestic violence. Do you think these are some of the precursor issues which may lead to and being more prevalent in these communities, and therefore this results in it being impacted on the people's health? Or do you think it is purely genetic?
I think there could be a multi factors really in terms of people's mental health. I mean, obviously what we've seen through COVID, and clearly what Yasin was saying, that obviously vaccine hesitancy was one of the issue. But I know through COVID, many people lost their jobs. People obviously couldn't access GPs, face-to-face contact. So, lots of things that kind of will have impacted people's physical health. Obviously, people also were, through lockdown, we know that there was limited digital access in different communities. People accessing the support, or people didn't know where to go for support through lockdown. So I guess through those changes in the national level, in terms of what we've experienced in the last 2 years, I think it's kind of highlighted that the communities have been, there's been an disproportionate amount of where the challenges have been. Obviously, and clearly what we've seen through COVID as well, that the disproportionate impact on different BME communities around the impact of COVID-19 as well. So what we know that we need to make sure that the right support's available for different communities, hence our role kind of came into being after the first lockdown, is that we saw that there was a massive need there, and we needed to bridge that gap between communities and mental health. And I think clearly the trust acted very quickly, so we needed that support in there. So
of course,
and bringing those dialogues and conversation between communities and our clinicians to make sure that the people can access those right support earlier on, or if there were barriers, is how do we overcome some of those key barriers in the communities.
So again, just trying to tease out some of the problems and the issues. We know that the age profile of BME communities is of a younger profile. They are, generally speaking, younger in age as on average. We know also that there is issues around economic deprivation. We know there are issues around housing. We know there are issues around educational attainment. As community development or engagement workers, do you guys see a correlation between these issues in society and then what you see at the clinician's desk from the point of view of people exhibiting mental health conditions, and whether it be anywhere on the spectrum from anxiety or mild depression, going all the way up to your schizophrenias and obsessive compulsive disorders and such like. Do you think there is a correlation, and as such should the NHS be now focusing on those correlations and creating awareness of those? Or do you actually think really there isn't anything to do with that, it's just a matter of clinical exhibition, it's whatever comes through the doctor's surgery, and that's how we deal with it?
I think you've pointed out a really important area. And one of the things that we're working with is we're not working in silos in terms of what we do. We're working in partnership with other organisations. So, for example, like you said, housing, employment, it could be around education. All of these factors can be part of someone's mental health journey. So we want to incorporate all of that to support that person's recovery. And one of the key aspects of our role is working together with other organisations. So we do. So for one of the things that I have kind of started is, and I was going to bring this up later on, but I'll mention it. It's about, so we started the EMC steering group. So the steering group brings across all various organisations, so community organisation, BME, various other communities that are trying to support people's mental health and well-being through local authority. It could be, Health Watch, all these other organisations are out there.
Please come closer to the mic.
So all these other organisations who are supporting different communities, we're working in partnership with them to look at what's already been done, what's already been delivered, where are the gaps, and how do we kind of continue to work together? Because as Yasin actually said, we can't do it alone. I think we need to work with everyone, every person, and we're open to ideas, we're open to suggestion, but I suppose going forward, it's, I think we want to work with as many partners as possible to kind of look at how do we support somebody. So if that person comes, like you said, if somebody comes in to the clinical room and it's not the mental health is to do with them losing a job, then we want to make sure that that person's supported around their employment needs, and we make sure that person can be signposted or supported to the right places as well.
And so, of course, what we're looking at is creating awareness out there that you exist and that people can engage with you, and community leaders and organisations and faith groups can link up with you guys, but also then creating awareness amongst the clinicians and the NHS, the wider NHS community, so that they have better understanding and awareness of these key things. We're coming up to our ad break in 20 seconds, so I'm going to carry on with the discussion after the ad break, and I'm going to especially want to start looking at suicide prevention as well, so we'll bring you in, Dave, as well. Listeners, you're listening to Ramadan Radio Wolverhampton 87.8 FM. This is In Conversation with Yusuf Shafi. We'll carry on after the break and we'll talk more about mental health.
Are you replacing windows in your home? Here at AK Windows, with over 30 years experience manufacturing and installation, we can provide you with premium and affordable UPVC, aluminium windows and doors, roof lanterns, composite and bifolding doors. We offer a free quotation on all work with our selected range of windows in grey, white and much more. We can also repair window and door locks with glass repairs too. We also supply to the trade. Call today for a free quote on 01902 421 500. AK Windows.
Are you looking for a new challenge? A chance to be your own boss? Becoming a driving instructor is a lot easier than you think. Bespoke training is provided and franchise opportunities with guaranteed results. Or are you looking to get a full driving license? Well, look no further. For a complete package from translated theory classes to driving ability, securing your freedom to the future. Contact us today by calling Ashes Driving School on 07402 362 717. Wolverhampton and surrounding areas. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Learn by taking the right turn.
Mubi Bass Electronics, specialist in car audio and home entertainment. Suppliers of leading brands, Samsung, Sony, and Panasonic. We supply and fit all car audio systems, top brands, Kenwood, Bose, and we're an authorized supplier of Vibe product. Visit our store online at mubibass.co.uk and order today for next day delivery. Mubi Bass Electronics are proud sponsors of Wolverhampton Wanderers FC. Call us today for a free quote on 01902 754 546 and quote Ramadan 20 for 10% off. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Mubi Bass Electronics, specialist in car audio and home entertainment.
Little Dessert Shop, UK's leading dessert franchise, continues to deliver happiness in Wolverhampton. Order from Just Eat, Uber Eats and Deliveroo. Visit us at littledessertshop.co.uk and contact your nearest branch. From all at Little Dessert Shop, we wish you a blessed Ramadan and a happy Eid.
Ready for a new career? Ready to be an engineer? Get ready, get set, get training. Become a qualified domestic gas or electrical engineer with the potential to earn up to 45k by enrolling onto one of our bespoke, accredited, industry-recognised training courses at our purpose-built training centre in Wolverhampton. For more information, visit our website.
The death of a loved one is a very emotional and challenging time for the family members of the deceased. Al Mu'min Funeral Services have been supporting families across the UK since 2005. Their professional, experienced and quality service ensures the whole process from release from hospital to burial is taken care of respectfully and efficiently. They also specialise in worldwide repatriations, assisting to take loved ones to Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Iraq or anywhere worldwide. almu'minfunerals.co.uk, your trusted funeral service.
Do you have a family member that's passed away and you would like someone to assist you in legal advice? Kenneth Jones Solicitors has been providing legal services for businesses and individuals since 1986. We specialise in probate, Islamic wills and family law. We also offer services in conveyancing, immigration and personal injury. Contact us today on 01902 745 773 or visit us on our website at kenneth-jones.co.uk.
Betsy's Burgers taste flippin' awesome. Betsy's world famous burgers are coming soon to Wolverhampton and Wednesfield. Prepare for sizzling hot smash burgers, bubbling mac and cheese, and sensational sides. Betsy's is home to undefeated, crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside fries. Dunk your Betsy's burger in a lava hot melted cheese and get a load of our loaded fries and mouth-watering cheese-filled onion rings. The king is dead. Long live the queen. Betsy's Burgers, coming flippin' soon. Eurofit Auto Centres, the West Midlands leading independent auto centre, celebrating 18 years of service. All services, MOT and repairs, with a free collection and drop-off service within Wolverhampton. Book online today at eurofitautocentres.co.uk or call us on 01902 40 40 45 and we'll direct you to your nearest branch. The expert making vehicle repairs simple.
Are you in receipt of benefits and looking for cavity wall or underfloor insulation? Did you know, with Northern Gas Heating, you could get a free boiler with the insulation measure of your choice? Call 0800 083 1000 or go to northerngasheating.com to see if you're eligible. It's a quick and easy assessment. Northern Gas Heating, celebrating over 20 years in the industry. We're proud to be the UK's local central heating company.
Feeling peckish? Treat your taste buds with a range of delicious...
Inna alhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Yusuf Shafi. You're listening to Radio Ramadan Wolverhampton, 87.8 FM. You are listening live to myself and my guests in the studio, who are all talking about mental health and suicide prevention. Our program today is to create awareness about the key issues that are affecting our communities and some of the things that we as a community need to be doing in order to engage with the NHS, to engage with the service providers, and also some of the things that they are doing and some of the things they could be doing in order to serve our communities. Listeners, this is a topic which unfortunately touches many, many households. Mental health and suicide prevention are things that we don't like to talk about, unfortunately. It's often brushed under the carpet. It's often one of those taboo issues which people feel particularly uncomfortable about. Unfortunately, 1 in 3 people will be affected with mental health in their life at some stage. And so, in a sense, for us as a community to not be able to actually grapple with and engage with this issue, and as our community leaders and our masajid and our various community groups and organizations, to not be able to actually address this issue is a matter of great concern. The important thing we need to realize is that we as a community here, living in the West, living in Wolverhampton, in the Black Country, are, if we are affected, we are citizens, we have the rights, we have the privilege, thankfully, to be able to say we want services, we want support, we want care. We need and deserve that care. And so the National Health Service, we are blessed with the great National Health Service we have. It's the best service in the world, without a doubt, has provided for us these good people who are my guests in the audience, in the studio. And these people are working alongside the clinicians, alongside the doctors and the nurses and the psychiatrists and the counsellors, in order to actually enable a conversation, in order to actually engage with communities, to be able to facilitate an understanding, a mutual understanding between the statutory body, the great organisation, the NHS, and you, the individuals in the communities. And what we want to really look at in this part of the programme is the key measures that have gone on what are they doing, and how are they supporting, and how are they instigating projects in order to provide better services? David Stocks, I want to bring you in, please. You do a fair bit of work around suicide prevention. Now, suicide is a very much of a taboo subject, especially amongst the Muslim community. But of course it happens. God forbid, it does happen. What are the key things that you are finding are the barriers and problems in order to get suicide prevention and awareness of it to our communities?
Yeah, I mean, the barriers are huge with suicide prevention. As I mentioned earlier, just my job title, Suicide Prevention Community Development Worker, can stop a conversation in its tracks. So raising that topic is a huge barrier in the first place. The cultural barriers within different religious faiths are enormous, and it's just not accepted in a lot of faiths, unfortunately. And also, it's not accepted within men, for instance. Me being a man, I've come through that journey myself. I kept it bottled up until it was almost too late, and I was admitted to hospital only just in time. But for other people, it can be too late. So suicide prevention is not about tackling the issue when it gets to crisis stage like it happened with me. Suicide prevention is actually ensuring people's well-being and promoting well-being and getting people to talk about mental health way earlier down the line. For instance, it's a lot easier to put out a fire before it starts.
Of course.
So, with suicide prevention, what we're talking about is looking at people's mental health a lot earlier on and looking at well-being. And when we talk about mental health, it's not just, you see your doctor, you see your psychiatrist, you see your psychologist, you get a therapy. No, it's about well-being. So it may be someone is being made unemployed and needs to find a job, or is looking for a job. It may be through COVID, so many people have got isolated, getting them back into society, getting them doing activities. It may be...
So you're looking at social prescribing measures, I would take it.
Well, yes. So, social prescribing in that aspect, I mean, getting a job, not necessarily social subscribing, but yeah, social
prescribing.
Prescribing, yeah. I always get that mixed up. Yeah, it's not always social prescribing, but yeah, I'm a firm believer in social activities can help your well-being and prevent a mental health crisis deepening.
Okay, so if I could press you then, in a nutshell, if you were to, besides obviously giving tablets or some type of treatment in that sense, what is it that the NHS can provide people currently if they are at risk of severe mental health disorder, or more pressingly, if they're at risk of actually suicide? What are the services besides drugs, besides tablets of some form, that the NHS provide?
Right. Well, we've got the Recovery College, which is a really fantastic resource.
Tell us more about that then, please.
Recovery College, it was originally just Wolverhampton and Sandwell, and it's now across the Black Country. It's mainly run online since the onset of COVID, but there's going to be physical locations around the Black Country.
Okay, and what's the key things that you do at the...
Oh, there's so many activities. There's poetry group, which is a person. I like creative activities myself, so I will harp on about creative activities. Okay. There's a poetry group, there's art groups, but there's also IT classes, which is really useful. There's all sorts of sort of well-being classes.
Now, without wishing to be insensitive about this, how does one get to the point where you are able to go to this recovery? Is it that you have had to have gone through an episode, an event of attempted suicide, or is it much before then?
Any time on that journey, and you don't have to have had a mental health diagnosis.
Okay.
You can actually refer yourself.
Okay, so these are community events, community classes, community programs.
Yes, yeah.
Where are they held?
As I say, mainly online.
Okay.
There is a place in Oldbury, a physical location in Oldbury at the moment.
Okay.
But we're looking for other physical locations across the
Because I'm just thinking to myself, if I'm a listener out there thinking, well, okay, these are things, I know somebody who I myself am being affected by this at the moment, and I would just absolutely love, it would be amazing for me to go and be able to speak to people who are also currently going through these problems. What we know is because of the cutbacks, because of all of the lack of investment being made in mental health, community mental health provision, a lot of those places where people would go to get that support and help have been closed down. If you're saying to me that they're now being rejuvenated, they're now being started up again, well, that's absolutely brilliant news. What we need is for communities in Wolverhampton to be able to be made aware of those, and I take it you're going to give some numbers and internet sites later on. But I think what we also need to think about is cultural bias. To what extent are the issues that are being faced by Muslim communities and BME communities prevalent at those events and activities?
Can I add to that? I was just going to say, so in terms of Recovery College, they are actually, as David said, it was based in Sandwell and Wolverhampton, and they are actually expanding to Walsall and Dudley. And one of the things they are looking at is working with different community organisations in partnership. So when they are delivering wellbeing courses, it's suitable for different community groups as well. So if there are any cultural barriers, this is where our role comes in. So we are the part of that consultation to make sure that those community activities are actually accessible for those people who may, like you said, who may have biases around it. And that's why we're trying to engage with as many community groups, and that's part of our role, is making sure that when there is a service available, how do we ensure that it's suitable for the groups and the population across Black Country.
So would some of those activities be led in BME languages, in Punjabi, in Gujarati, in Hindi, in Urdu, in Kurdish, in Arabic? The languages which are prevalent within the communities, would you find some activities in those languages?
I think that's one thing that's been in consultation. So that's what they're looking at. So when the Recovery College started initially, obviously it was quite small, and obviously now it's expanded and more community groups are coming to access it. So I think that's one of the key discussion that's currently in conversation, that we want to make sure that it's accessible for different communities and what other things. So we know language is one of them. And there's also accessibility as well. So, obviously digital is not everyone's ideal place. So we want to make sure it's also face-to-face.
But this is also, again, what we're talking about, the mosques, the faith organisations earlier on as well, where they play a key role in this as well. And they can help and support local community, especially if there are language barriers as well. So over the last 12 months or so, myself and David specifically, and Nazima through her steering group, we've made some significant improvements working with local faith organisations, the mosques, the temples, the gurdwaras, even the churches as well. Especially around some of the Black African Caribbean churches as well. We're working very closely with those as well to try and kind of work very closely as to how we can kind of provide that much needed support to those communities. And because what you'll find, let's just take my own community, for example. I'm a Muslim. I would much prefer to go to my local mosque and speak to my imam if I had a mental health problem, rather than go and speak to my GP. So I'd feel more comfortable. And plus I wouldn't want anybody else to know either. So I mean, it is a good thing as well, because people are actually talking to someone. That is okay, and that's what we want. So we now really need to work and engage with those mosques, those imams as well, those faith leaders as well, as to how can we bring the services, the support, and how they can access.
And do you find that easy?
We find it a lot more easier to kind of engage with some of those faith organizations. Over the past 12 to 18 months, we built up a really good reputation, really good relationship with these organizations, not just, in Wolverhampton, but right across the Black Country.
Okay.
And, we are doing lots of work, lots of different works of engagement. And we did similar stuff to what we talked about earlier around COVID as well, going back 12 months ago when there was no uptake amongst some of the Asian communities as well. So we try to build some relationships with local faith organizations, first of all, and try and bring those faith leaders together and also clinicians together as well, and try and give people the real information and from the people who they could trust as well, rather than just believing whatever hype that was going on social media.
Sure. So are we saying in an ideal world, maybe 3, 5, 8 years from now, we're looking at a situation where you guys, through your endeavours and your work, will be able to engage with faith-based organisations, whether they be gurdwaras or temples or mosques or churches or community organisations, community groups, women's groups, be able to create within those disparate venues first aiders or training for first aiders, such that mental health is at the forefront of what they are doing. When somebody walks into those buildings, they know there's a mental health first aider around. They know there's a room, a place where they can make an appointment, or they can have a cup of tea or coffee with somebody, and through that be able to get immediate short-term support.
So I'm glad you brought that up, especially around training, because we wanted to bring this up as well. Because even around that, there is a number of initiatives that are already going on, specifically what you've just kind of mentioned. And one of them being is that across the Black Country, we are trying to train medical first aid across the GP surgeries, for example. So every GP surgery will have a medical first aider trained up in reception. So if someone walks into a surgery, for example, say emotionally distressed, they could pick up those early signs straight away and at least provide that support.
You see, sorry to interrupt you, but I just think we're missing a trick, aren't we? Because you see, what we have in our communities is buildings. And those buildings are worth millions. And then most of the week they're sitting there idle. So on Friday, in the case of a mosque, you'll have a mosque which is full of people. On a Sunday, in the case of a temple, it'll be full of people. For the rest of the week, it's sitting there idle. So it's a community asset. It's sitting there. The heating and lighting is going on, but nobody's using it. There's rooms, there's spaces there. What we need, of course, is the empowerment. What we need is the engagement, so that the local mosques and the imams or some members of that congregation can come forward as volunteers and say, yes, I want to be ready, I want to be trained up, please help me. And thereafter allow them to do the job, allow them to actually carry on and facilitate the service. Because we know the NHS is strapped for cash, we know the NHS can't be there for everything. But what initiatives from the NHS exist or will exist to facilitate this type of operation going forward?
So that is next. Sorry.
Yeah,
Dave, you were going to come in.
There's a barbershop initiative that's running at the moment, and training up. Well, it's not just barbershops, but hair salons and nail technicians as well, and that's running at the moment. And the first training will start this month for barbershops, nail technicians, and hairdressers within the Wolverhampton area. And if it proves successful, which it's got a great uptake, and it will be successful, we hope that we can replicate that model on a faith organisation basis. So we then get someone who will be suicide first aid trained within faith organisations as well. So it's just anywhere that people access regularly. Yassin mentioned that people go to the GPs, so the receptionists are getting trained up in mental health first aid, and people will be accessing the mosques and temples, so it makes sense to train them up as well. And it's getting those places where, as you say, those resource-rich places who access it, trained up in it. But also, going back to the recovery college is not just about recovery college delivering to communities. It's co-producing with the communities. So those communities will actually be enabled to deliver some of the courses themselves.
Excellent. That's really, really positive. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would be able to take that information on board and really want to engage with it, because the whole idea is that if you could actually co-produce, if you could actually decide what the programs will be about. So it may well be that a group of people want to have an evening, for example, where they discuss, I don't know, the poetry of Ghalib, as an example, and through that want support for their mental health. Well, that's fine. If they want to do it through a certain type of musical instrument that they happen to know about, well, then that's fine, as long as that co-production is going on. And what I think would be really valuable is if you guys could leave those contact details with us, and we'll put them out on air in both this half and in the last half of the show, in order to really make sure that people can get involved with that co-production. Because I think from my point of view, I would really just want to impress on the importance of people being made aware of these services, but then engaging with these services and saying, well, no, hold on, I don't want to look at the literature of the 18th century because that bores the pants off me. I actually want to look at the literature of the 1950s in India, and that is something which I'll be happily join a group with, and I'll happily benefit my mental health with. So put it on, and please put it on now. Nazima, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, I just wanted to go back on one of the points that you raised about the mosques and temples. Some of them might be sitting there empty, and I think, I've engaged with quite a lot of faith organisations, and a lot of faith organisations are doing some wonderful things in the community. They're doing some well-being groups in the week. They're offering various types of activities for men and women as well, and these activities are accessible for local communities, and I think that's kind of quite wonderful, even though it's not always necessarily have to be directly related to mental health. But they're doing some things like around support around employment and various other activities that they must have done that with discussion with communities, and I think that's kind of wonderful because if there's a mosque or a temple which is quite close to where that person lives and they need that bit of support, it might be they go into that environment for one support, but they may come back with several other support networks, So I think, I just wanted to raise that because I know I've seen quite a lot of things happening from various faith establishments, and it's brilliant.
Would it be fair in saying, though, Nazima, that it started, but it's fledgling, in that we haven't got a widespread uptake of it?
I think through COVID, and I know a lot of things stopped. And I think now things are coming back face to face. I think it's giving people different ideas in terms of what's needed in the community. And the people are, myself, Mohammed Yassin, we engage with a lot of community groups, and a lot of them are asking and approaching us for ideas in terms of, we want to support our mental health, but we kind of struggle because we don't want to talk about mental health because people there's a bit of a negative stigma. So how do we approach that topic?
The obvious thing is number one, encouraging people to approach the topic, but also being accessible. And it's, as you say, that the venues are the point of accessibility. And the obvious point, I was just thinking of this as you were talking there, the school gate. To what extent does the NHS go to the school gate and speak to the parent who drops the child off and say, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Is there any way we can support you? Is there something you'd want to get involved with? And maybe we can book a room in the school at 9:15, and maybe we can get you into the school and then talk about an issue that's affecting you. So there's a lot of things I think that community can engage with and advise on, but it's for us to understand the mechanisms of that. And in the second and the last half, of this show, what I really want to explore with you is those mechanisms. I think what exists is a lot of goodwill, And what you three people have come here to talk about is in essence, the NHS putting forward that goodwill and saying, we are here, we want to engage with you, we want to learn about the issues, we want to learn about how we can support your mental health and prevent suicide and all sorts of similar issues. But it's about then enabling the people to come back to the NHS and saying, well, okay, fine, good. Can you please put this on? Can you please organise that? Can you please, for me, do it in this language? Can you please do it for me in this accessible manner? Because unless that doesn't happen, with the greatest respect to you all, it's all just words, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mohammed Nassim, you wanted to come in?
Yeah, and you're quite right in what you've just said. And these are some of the issues that we are coming across now, since especially after lockdown it has ended now as well. And people are really engaging, and you can see that engagement as well, especially what people have been through, during the last 12 months or so through COVID, and the mental health and the suffering, etc., and also the impact it's had on children as well. So people are really engaging, especially organisation, not just faith organisation, local organisations as well, in as to how they can help and support their own local communities as well, which is really, really good to see as well, that people are, getting up within their own communities as well. So, and that is something that we are working towards. It's a big, massive project, and we will continue.
Okay, so listeners, we're coming up to the break. After the break, we'll continue and we'll discuss these issues.
Are you replacing windows in your home? Here at AK Windows, with over 30 years experience manufacturing and installation, we can provide you with premium and affordable UPVC, aluminium windows and doors, roof lanterns, composite and bifolding doors. We offer a free quotation on all work with our selected range of windows in grey, white and much more. We can also repair window and door locks with glass repairs too. We also supply to the trade. Call today for a free quote on 01902 421 500. AK Windows.
Are you looking for a new challenge? A chance to be your own boss? Becoming a driving instructor is a lot easier than you think. Bespoke training is provided and franchise opportunities with guaranteed results. Or are you looking to get a full driving license? Well, look no further. For a complete package from translated theory classes to driving ability, securing your freedom to the future. Contact us today by calling Ashes Driving School on 07402 362 717. Wolverhampton and surrounding areas. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Learn by taking the right turn.
Mubi Bass Electronics, specialist in car audio and home entertainment. Suppliers of leading brands, Samsung, Sony, and Panasonic. We supply and fit all car audio systems, top brands, Kenwood, Bose, and we're an authorized supplier of Vibe product. Visit our store online at mubibass.co.uk and order today for next day delivery. Mubi Bass Electronics are proud sponsors of Wolverhampton Wanderers FC. Call us today for a free quote on 01902 754 546 and quote Ramadan 20 for 10% off. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Mubi Bass Electronics, specialist in car audio and home entertainment.
Little Dessert Shop, UK's leading dessert franchise, continues to deliver happiness in Wolverhampton. Order from Just Eat, Uber Eats and Deliveroo. Visit us at littledessertshop.co.uk and contact your nearest branch. From all at Little Dessert Shop, we wish you a blessed Ramadan and a happy Eid.
Ready for a new career? Ready to be an engineer? Get ready, get set, get training. Become a qualified domestic gas or electrical engineer with the potential to earn up to 45k by enrolling onto one of our bespoke, accredited, industry-recognised training courses at our purpose-built training centre in Wolverhampton. For more information, visit our website gettraining.com or contact us on 01902 583 941.
It's mega deal time right now at Salsa Grill. Any size pizza, a buy one, get one free, with free medium fries. Any curries with 4 roti, just $6.99. Any single burger meal, just $3.50. Masala fish with fries or a naan, only $4.50. It's all here and much more at Salsa Grill, 27 Broad Street, Wolverhampton. Order on Wolverhampton 312-314 or online through Just Eat, Uber Eats or by searching Salsa Grill Wolverhampton.
Mina Bazaar, one of the UK's biggest collections of Asian bridal wear and fashion. Established for over 25 years, we're now showcasing and taking orders for our brand new catalogue. We have Mina Bazaar's men's bridal wear. We'll be stocking the very best in groom sherwani, fashion kurta and waistcoats. Book an appointment today and get 15% off during Ramadan at Mina Bazaar, 184 Ladypool Road, Birmingham, B12 8JS by calling us on 07970 265 956. Spice up your iftar with traditional spices and flavours from Indus. We go to great lengths to source only the best in Far Eastern flavours, with a wide range of spices, pulses, lentils and essentials for your kitchen cupboards. From our hot chili powder to our range of beans and pulses. Find our range in leading local supermarkets and retailers. Indus, the world's finest foods. Your tyres are essential for safe driving. They're the only link between your vehicle and the road. At Premier Tyres, we proudly stock leading tyre brands such as Goodyear, Michelin, Pirelli and more. We're also your go-to garage for MOTs, servicing, exhausts and all your mechanical needs. With the most affordable prices in town, unmatched quality, knowledgeable and fully qualified mechanics, we will look after your car no matter the make or model. Premier Tyres, Crown Street, WV1 1PX. Call 01902 455 684 or visit premiertyreservices.com.
Every Ramadan, many around the world remain hopeful of your zakat and sadaqah, to see them through their toughest days. That's why your charity not only improves lives, but saves lives. Give hope to millions around the world from your hands, through Muslim hands. Hope is never lost when we place our trust in Allah. Hold on to hope and help save lives. Visit muslimhands.org.uk today.
This is Ramadan Radio, your local voice, your local Muslim radio. Go to RamadanRadioWolves.com and donate to your local mosque.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. You're listening to In Conversation With, and my name is Yusuf Shafi. You're in conversation with myself and my guests in the studio today, who are from the NHS and looking at mental health and suicide prevention. Radio Ramadan Wolverhampton, 87.8 FM is what you're listening to. And in the first sections of this program, we were looking at the problems and the issues and how communities are affected by mental health conditions and mental health services being present, but not necessarily always being used. We also discussed issues around some of the barriers that prevent people from discussing and having awareness of their mental health within faith organizations and within the family, within homes as well. What we want to do in this last stint of the program is to focus on some of the solutions. We want to think of some of the initiatives, some of the ideas, some of the activities, the contact details, the websites, the telephone numbers, and more specifically, how you as an individual can engage, how you can impact those services and knock on that door and shout and scream and say, I want it this way and I want it now. An evidence base in that there's a significant number of people who are affected by this particular stress, by this particular anxiety, and this is the activity we want in order to support them. We discussed also how our venues and our mosques and our communities, organizations can be used to facilitate such activities as well. So let's talk about how we can engage. Let's talk about how we can, as citizens, as taxpayers, turn to the NHS and say, brilliant, really happy that you're doing this for us, but look, can you please tweak it in this way because I can't speak English? Can you please tweak it in this way because I can't see? Can you please tweak it in this way because I can't hear? that's what we need from you. I want to turn to Mohammed Yassin first of all. After the break, before the break, we were talking about some of the problems, some of the solutions. So I'll go to you first. Where are your solutions?
Thank you. I mean, here at the Black Country Healthcare, we provide a network of support for different things, whether it's mental health, whether it's suicide prevention, whether it's anything else. So we really want people to kind of engage with us as well here, to come and speak to us as well, specifically as to what support do they need, so we can kind of tailor it to their needs as well. We want to engage with local communities, local organizations as well, to bring our services to them, out into the community. And there's a number of services we have right across, through our trust. It's even something like the sanctuary hubs as well. We have different sanctuary hubs across the Black Country in Dudley. We have one in West Bromwich. We have one in Wolverhampton. We have one in Walsall. People can access those, if they're going through emotional support to those in distress. You can also access the 24/7 helpline as well. That is available to anybody and everybody.
Give us a number, please.
And the number to that is 0800 008 6516. I'll repeat that again, 0800 008 6516.
Can I just interrupt there, Yasin? That is the one number. If people are going to take something home from this radio station today, that is a one key number. It's a 24/7 helpline, and from there you can get signposted to any of the other services, and that includes non-NHS services as well. So that is the key number to remember. So again, it's 0800 008 6516.
Thank you for that, David. Yeah, and also some of the other stuff that Nazima mentioned as well, some of the support factors as well. There's lots of support, but really people need to kind of engage. You can get lots of information through our website as well, Black Country Healthcare. There's so much information as well. But if you're unsure, just by dialing that number, you will be given support. You'll be signposted to whatever support you need. So it's just a very simple, basic, free number as well, accessible to anybody.
Okay.
And so really that is what we want. We want to engage with people.
Can I mention something about the sanctuary hubs?
Please
as well?
do. Yes.
Yeah. The sanctuary hubs are sort of an out of hours service. So when normal services stop after 5, the sanctuary hubs kick in. And they're actually drop-in services, so people can walk into them off the street, and I can give you the addresses for
Please do. Please give us the Wolverhampton address at least, because a lot of listeners are from Wolverhampton. So
the Wolverhampton Sanctuary Hub is Castle House, Wheelers Fold, Wolverhampton, WV for Victor 1 H for Harold, N for Nigel. Sorry, I don't know my phonetic alphabet.
Okay, that's fine. So Castle's House in Wheelers Fold. That's supposed to be in the town centre, wouldn't it?
Yes.
That'll be in the town centre.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Again, if anyone is unsure, you can get it. Just if you dial that number as well, they can signpost you towards that if you're unsure about the address.
Okay.
It's also on the Trust website as well.
So this is the NHS Trust.
The Black Country Healthcare website. Yeah. So
website.
if you put Black Country Healthcare into your browser, it will find the Black Country Healthcare website, and you can find addresses and useful contacts from there. So that's something else that's worth remembering. It is actually blackcountryhealthcare.nhs.uk.
Okay, that's great.
Just to mention also, sorry, Yusuf, as well, you mentioned about support as well. It's also critical, I think, for us to mention, myself and David are also suicide prevention trained officers as well, so we are trainers. So we do really want to, again, we are putting a program together of engaging with local organizations, faith organizations as well, mosques as well, to try and engage and provide that training to those leaders as well in suicide awareness within communities as well, and how they can support those people within their communities. And that is something that me and David will be doing going forward.
So if there's a mosque out there or a community venue who want to get themselves trained up and be a centre who can support their congregation, to support their people, then they need to make contact with yourselves.
Yes.
Yes.
That 0800 number is the best number to contact you, or is there an alternative?
There is a different number. We can leave those with you if you want to share them out after
Well,
the.
if you can mention it, that would be much. If you can mention it now on air, that would be better.
Or
I can happily share my number, contact details, because I've written it down.
Yeah,
so
please do.
So this is my mobile number. So this is my work number, and so if anybody has any questions in terms of accessing those training courses, it's 07771 583 635. So that will be directed to myself, and hopefully I can kind of signpost you to my colleagues. In addition to what David and Yasin have mentioned, there are a number of other mental health courses that's available freely across Black Country. So if you want to contact myself, I can actually identify which courses are available in your area which you can attend. So there are some available online and some are face to face. So again, these are free mental health courses, suicide prevention training courses that is provided through local authority as well, and they are accessible for anyone or any community groups that want to be trained in mental health. So that is available. So yeah, do contact me if you want more information. I'll kind of repeat my mobile number again. It's 07771 583 635. Thank you.
And also, Yusuf, sorry, just to mention as well, if people are if there's any specific language barriers as well, between us, I think, Nazima, Masa, we speak Urdu, Punjabi, Hindi, Bengali as well. So, they can get in touch with us and we can help and provide support with that as well.
We did discuss at the start maybe just a key message maybe going out in Urdu for some of our listeners who prefer the Urdu language. Either of Nazima or Mohammed, or maybe Dave, you'd be okay at Urdu. How do you feel about that?
I can barely speak English.
That was just me being cruel, wasn't it? So, which one of you would like to give out a quick
I think
message?
Nazima's more confident
I can
in
do the Urdu.
Gujarati.
I could do Gujarati or Urdu. Which
I think we do Urdu. It's a bit more general.
Okay.
So, अगर आप कुछ हमारे सुनने वालों को बताना चाहते हैं कि आपकी सर्विसेज क्या है, आप कैसे उनकी मदद कर सकते हैं, वो कैसे आप उसको कॉन्टैक्ट कर सकते हैं, और किस तरीके से अपनी मेंटल हेल्थ की बचात कर सकते हैं.
जी अच्छा, अगर आपको कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं कि आपकी मेंटल हेल्थ के या किसी आपके फैमिली में हो इसको मेंटल हेल्थ की ज़रूरत की सपोर्ट चाहिए, तो आप ये नंबर डायल कर सकते हैं. ये फ्री फ़ोन नंबर है. नंबर है 0800 008 6516, और वो तुमको सपोर्ट करेंगे और आपको बताएंगे कि कौन सी सर्विसेज आपके लिए एक्सेसिबल है. अगर आपको और कुछ लैंग्वेज में दूसरी सर्विसेज चाहिए तो वो लोग भी आपको बता सकते हैं.
Excellent, thank you. So, alhamdulillah, we've got the number across, and that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Carrying on with the conversation, the whole issue around mental health. It is clearly something, as I'm sure you will appreciate, which a number of communities are affected by in many, many ways. And it destroys lives. There are people who literally can't leave their homes. There are people who can't get jobs. There are people who can't have normal social interactions with their family, their communities, their loved ones. The prevention of these things, the prevention of these disorders is absolutely imperative. And as a community, I think we ourselves have got a responsibility. It's all well and good to be able to point fingers to the statutory bodies, the NHS, or to the government, or to the local authorities, or whoever, and to say, what have they done? I think as a community, we have an imperative responsibility to make sure that we ourselves are supporting ourselves. And whether that means creating debate at mosque committees, or whether that means actually sitting around in mothers' groups, or whether that means young people using the radio station as a media, and thereby creating awareness, thereby creating and being comfortable with the conversation. And I think in many instances, this is where we are lacking. This is where we are actually falling behind, because we ourselves aren't knocking on doors and saying, help, support, do it now. How do you think, looking to the future, can you guys, from your roles within the NHS, facilitate that type of community engagement and that type of conversation? So it's not about just saying, come to us for the services. It's about saying, let's just create awareness about what it is we can do.
Yeah, I was going to, you just, what you mentioned was very important. And one of the key things that struck me, and one of the things that we do share a lot with our community, is the 5 ways to well-being. I'm not sure if you've heard of that. But,
Please do. Please
so
enlighten us.
So 5 ways of well-being, it's all about how you can look after your own mental health and well-being. And so there's 5 things we always say that, we should encourage everyone, including myself, as many of us can try and uptake. So those 5 ways to well-being. So one of them is around making sure that you kind of like connected with the community, or connected with friends, family, or just people that you generally engage with. So that's the way of you kind of like expressing yourself in terms of making sure that you're connected with other people. Second is about looking after your own well-being, so making sure you've got time for yourself. So things that you enjoy, it might be going for a walk, or going for a run, or just having a cup of tea, or watching your favorite TV show, anything like that. So it's about looking after yourself. The third one is, guys, gonna have to help me here. Is it?
So we've got the first 2.
Yeah, I didn't come prepared with this one.
Giving.
Oh yes, giving. Yes, so kind of like looking at, sharing. It could be anything that you want to share, but it's like, people like to kind of maybe go out and share things, or share food, or like obviously what we do in Ramadan right now. So giving things. I think the other one is
We've had connective.
Connected.
Be active.
Be active. That's it. That's the key one, actually.
That's my favourite.
Yes, be active, and I think that kind of links in with enjoying what you do. But I think being active is taking part in anything that's more physical related. So it's all about looking after your physical well-being. But again, it's about being active. So doing things that are, what you would do that you find enjoyable. It doesn't have to be a particular type of activity. It could be just something that you find enjoyable. And remember, it's all about what you find, what's more comfortable for yourself.
Sure. And the 5th one?
And the last but not least, David.
Well, I think we've hit 6 somehow, but we've got take notice, which is if you've heard of mindfulness, which is very much part of spirituality as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Is taking notice of everyday activities and making your surroundings better. So maybe introducing a house plant into an office or something to just make it more.
So that was the first one, was it?
That was the third one.
It's okay.
Well, it doesn't matter the order because
no, it doesn't. But I think to reflect on what you just said in those 5 or 6 different activities or events that you could do in your daily life, and if we think about our deen, and if we think about our activities within our deen, alhamdulillah, we're blessed with teachings from our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and our deen about the importance of salah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how it's a time for contemplation, it's a time for conversation between yourself and your maker, and an opportunity for you to just put everything to one side and come back to the self, and come back to this whole concept of you are here on this planet and you're there in front of your maker, and now ask.
And you're here for a
submit.
reason, and you've been placed here for a reason. And if in within your life, if you can just make one meaningful difference to someone's life,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
you
Subhanallah.
you've achieved something.
And then I was thinking also, the idea of giving, and obviously the month of Ramadan is our month of zakat, and it's about giving, whether it's about helping somebody with some food at iftar time, or whether it's about giving your charity, or whether about giving your time for a community activity or for support, whether it's going out on the road and just picking up some litter and helping your
even
neighbors,
a smile,
or even a smile, subhanallah, even a smile, and through that activity you're helping your emotional well-being. And then what was the other one? It was about
connecting with other people. So again, it's all kind of interlinked on there.
So the connecting is obviously the whole concept of Jummah and Salah and going to the masjid and being part of a Jama'ah and praying in Jama'at, not playing in solitude at home all the time. That is important and that has its role. But also on Eid day, coming out, being part of Taraweehs, being part of community iftars. So in essence, what we're saying here, alhamdulillah, either that we've learned from the NHS or the NHS has learned from us. But either way, I think the NHS has learned from us.
I would say, I mean, mindfulness has been stolen from so many religions.
Of course, of course.
It's just been badged under clinical terms, and religions have got so much to teach us.
Of course.
We learn from them, and there's so much beauty in them and peace to be found. So by practicing whatever religion that you undertake, it can really...
Exactly. So I would say, listeners, a lot of what we've heard from these good people in the studio is really there as part of our deen. What is important is for us to learn about it, for us to implement it. But having said all of that, that goes so far. We then also do need sometimes to be engaged with activities that are going to focus on target support. And that's what these good people from the NHS are here to talk about. We're coming up to the last 5 or 6 minutes, and so what I'm going to really do is give opportunity to our studio guests to really give some parting messages. And what I would ask you all, please, is to repeat those numbers and contacts, because it's really important. If people didn't have a pen and paper when you were mentioning them first time round, they have the opportunity to note down those numbers. So, Nazima, if we start with yourself, and then we'll go around.
Okay, yeah, so going back to the key contact number that we did mention earlier, which is a 24/7 helpline, which is 0800 008 6516. In addition to that, I just want to mention that there is a number of self-help materials online as well, and you can access them in different languages as well. So if anybody does want any particular information around men's health in different languages, I have got lots of different variety of information. So yeah, you can obviously contact me on my mobile number, which is 0771 583 635, and I can definitely share some of the resources that I've collected over the past year. But yeah, I think, again, going back to the key telephone helpline number, we've got the 24/7 helpline, and obviously I'm hoping that if anybody wants to get in touch with us for any further information, even if you want to share any thoughts or ideas or suggestion, please do get in touch with us. So my mobile number is 0771 583 635, and if anybody wants to contact me via email, they're more than welcome to, and that's Nazima, NAZIMA .scopri, which is ESSCOPRI 1 @nhs.net. So please do get in touch if you need any further information in terms of the work we're doing, or if you want to if you need any further information around some of the projects we're involved with, or any training that you think you'd like to attend. So yes, please get in touch, and over to you, Dave.
Over to you, Dave. Parting messages and key contacts.
Okay, thank you very much, Nazima. Yeah, my main message is suicide prevention is everybody's business. It's not just mine, it's not just Nazima's, not just Yazin's, not just the NHS's. It's not just your faith leaders. It's everybody's business. And a simple thing like asking someone how they are can really prevent a possible suicide, and certainly help someone's well-being. And I don't mean, Nazima, if I say, how are you, how would you respond?
I'm fine.
Yeah. But if I said, how are you really?
See, now I'm thinking.
It gives that person a chance to open up. So the reason we say I'm fine on how are you is culturally within this country, possibly many others, you're programmed to respond in an acceptable way, saying I am fine. But also, you don't believe that person's genuinely asking. So if you can ask that person, how are you? And then, how are you really? That gives you that person a chance to open up. And just by listening and listening to them. You don't have to impose any advice, just listen. It automatically helps that person. You can then use some of the contact numbers that we've been given to signpost them to better services that may be able to help them more. But asking is crucial. And just making a cup of tea, popping round and making someone a cup of tea. Something really simple. We don't need these fancy services. We just need a cup of tea.
Of course, of course.
So, a cup of tea and offering hope. I've come from rock bottom myself. I've overcome all the obstacles, and I've spoken in Parliament, carried the Paralympic torch. I've done umpteen things in my life since hitting rock bottom, and that is because someone made me a cup of tea. I'm going to pass on.
Thank you very much, Dave.
To Yasin.
30 seconds, Yasin.
30 seconds, okay. Not a lot, but I just want to say, look, never lose hope. I mean, whatever you're doing, whatever you're going through, there is always hope. Believe in yourself and always believe that there is a way. There is another way. There is light. Use the contact numbers that have already been given out.
One more time,
Get
please.
in touch. 0800 008 6516. You can get in touch. We will leave our contacts here with Yusuf Bhai here as well. You can pass them on. My contact and mobile number is 078307 88676. You can get in touch with myself directly, or Nazima, or David, and we can help and support whatever way we can.
Thank you very much indeed, my guest Nazima Escropri, Dave Stocks, and Mohammed Yasin. This is Radio Ramadan Wolverhampton. My name is Yusuf Shafi. You're listening to 87.8 FM. I will be back again next week with more fun and frolics from Radio Ramadan Wolverhampton. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.